Hey, this is Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday. What a wonderful day of the week. Wednesday. Well, we're still studying through the book of James. Today we're in James, the second chapter, verse number 14. Now, what happens many times is preachers, because of they're just allotted a certain time span, we call it the attention span of your audience, and that they can't cover everything. But we don't have an attention span concern. We're doing these things in 8 or 9 minutes, these videos in 8 or 9 minutes, but we're just building constantly. And James, the second chapter, verse number 14, is building on everything that James has said up to that point. You see, James is writing to the Hebrew believers. He's writing primarily to those people in the area of Judea. And James is writing to them because you know what? Something has happened in the believers. These believers have received the grace of God. They know the mercy of God, but they have become very, very judgmental towards other believers, and they have stopped loving their neighbor. You see, James really, he's talked earlier about the two commandments, the two great commandments, but really James is focusing in on what we believe was the problem in the church, and that was the problem of love. They didn't love their neighbor. They didn't love their fellow believers. They didn't love not only their fellow believers, but they were having a really difficult time loving the Jewish people that were persecuting them. And of course, that area of Judea was still under the rule of Rome, and they were having a really difficult time loving the Roman soldiers that were there in occupation. But James is writing to them, and he's saying, guys, you need to be merciful. You need to love. And then verse number 14. What is it, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but has no works, can that faith save him? What's James talking about? He's talking about having a faith, but that faith is not displayed at all to anyone who's around them. You talk about the mercy of God, but yet how merciful are you? Really, what good is that? What good is it to have a faith and that faith isn't changing you? That faith isn't forming you. That faith isn't making you a display of the love and the mercy of God. That's what James is talking about. What use is it? What good is it? You know, that's a phrase that I use a whole lot. What good is it? What good is it? You know, I could go along with the book of Ecclesiastes and say, all is just chasing after the wind. You know what? What good is it if you say you've got a faith and you're not using it? You're not causing your faith to show to the world that's around you what Jesus is like. You're not allowing people to see the mercy of God. Oh, you're preaching and you're talking about the love of God, but what good is that faith if there's no works? If nothing is changing on the inside of you, what good is that faith? You see, we as believers, we many times criticize the world. We many times look at the world and say, what's wrong with you? Don't you know better? But yet the world looks at us and what do they see? They see people of faith. But are they seeing that faith displayed in love? You see, love is the context of what James is talking about. It's not doing displays of faith. But yet, you know what? If you go out and lay hands on someone and they're healed, how many of you know that is a display of the love of God towards that person. Do you understand that James is telling us that faith that doesn't have any works to accompany it? And again, the works that James is talking about here, taking this in context, is to love your neighbor as yourself. You say you have faith, but are you loving your neighbor? So James says, he says, can that faith save him? Now, we need to understand that when James here is talking about a saving faith, he's not just saying, will that faith bring you to heaven? You see, the word salvation is much larger than we many times understand. The word saved, actually the Greek word sozo, it encompasses every area of our life. It encompasses the success of our faith. It encompasses healing. It encompasses prosperity, having every need met. So when James asks this question, will that faith save you? Well, he's not just talking about going to heaven. We need to get that idea out of our minds that salvation is just going to heaven. No, salvation is going to heaven. That's a fact. That's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. But salvation is much more than just going to heaven. Salvation means in your mind. It means in your body. It means in your pocketbook. It means every area of your life. It means loving your neighbor. It means laying hands on the sick neighbor and having them recover. It means being able to have more than enough so that you can give to every good work. That kind of faith will save you. It will save you. Not only send you to heaven, but faith that works. Faith that goes out and shows itself to the world. That kind of faith will save you. It will bring you all that God has for you. I hope that you see this, that you understand this, because it's so vitally important for the times that we're living in especially. My time is up for today. I hope that you join us again tomorrow as we continue this study of the book of James. Thanks for watching.